What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Selly, powered by FTN Bets, right here on Game Plus Network, presented by PointsBet Canada. Chris Meaney and Eric Young here with you. 9 games on the NHL slate. Some interesting matchups, some lopsided affairs, and also a couple really, I don't know, can we get too crazy? Future Stanley Cup showdowns. I don't know if we can get that crazy. We are going to talk some hockey here with you today, of course, some NHL shot props, some picks, some goal scorers, any fantasy hockey advice, or any questions that you guys have, by all means, leave them there in the YouTube section. We see our guy Troy Nowak in the house. He says he's going to be live in attendance tonight, EY, at the Islanders and Blues game tonight. He's looking for a prop. He's thinking Noah Dobson, good old Canadian boy. He's having a pretty good season. Should be a good game. Last night was a pretty good game between the Blues and the Rangers. A lot of offense. We could see that carry over as well. Also says Marchenko has arrived. Brace yourself. He is making his debut tonight against Pittsburgh. That's another Kirill. I don't know if it's going to be Kirill. He's going to have to get a good new nickname. He can't take Kirill to throw a dollar bill from.
No, that one's taken.
Yeah.
Almost didn't make the show, so my voice is crazy. It's always crazy, but it's really crazy today. So if it cuts out and breaks, I apologize. I'm wearing my vintage, authentic CCM New Jersey Devils. I don't know if I've owned anything longer than I've owned this jersey. I think everything else that I own from high school is gone or back in Canada, but I still have this jersey, and I love it. And I love Scott Stevens, and I love the Devils back in the day. And they're having a great season. Like you said, we got 9 games on the slate. Tons to talk about. Troy, Dustin, Adam, Evan, all the guys are in the chat here. Our little community of lunatics. I don't know what they do where they can be in here at 10 o'clock in the morning, but away we go.
For it.
Yeah,
I love them for it. Yeah, Dustin Chafee. Good morning, guys. Good morning to you, Adam Szymanski in the house as well. Good morning, Jason Robertson Damon. This guy's just an absolute baller. My goodness, like he is.
The contract already looks like a steal.
Man,
right?
I don't even really know what else to say about him. Like it's crazy. Last year, I feel like we gushed over him as just over a point per game guy, and we talked about the home and road splits. There were so many times that we got involved with like Pavelski goals and shots, and now it's negative. You know, the odds are negative every time for him to find the back of the net. And also, like the point parlays have gone away at Bet365. At the start of the season, it was like plus 200 for Pavelski, Rupe Hintz, and Robertson point, and now Robertson's at 1.5 almost every single day, and it'll be fun. Jason against Nick there, but everyone around me has talked about Nick forever, and nobody ever talked about Jason. And all Jason did, even in Kingston with the Frontenacs, is score goals, and it's carried over here. He looks fantastic. George is in the house. Labatt Lunatics, goal Caulfield season. Yeah, we did get a goal from Caulfield last night. And the Habs, we'll get into they're in action tonight. I know some people it worked out in the bet tracker yesterday. We had the Habs. I think they ended up being like plus 210. I just think the Canucks, they're not good enough to be favored against anybody, even at home. Massive favorites like that. But if you play at Bet365, you get the early payout bonus. So they were up 4-0 in the first period. You cash your ticket despite them blowing that lead and them losing in overtime 7-6 last night. But a highly entertaining game. So we'll get after it here in just a second. Yes, Robertson was a Frontenac. Just moved to Kingston. He was at a Friends game on Sunday.
Oh, awesome.
One of my closest friends, actually, works for the Kingston Frontenacs. Shout out to Mike Omalon. We work together. You're aware of Mike, I believe, EY, when we worked at FNTSY. I think we may have done some segments. He's in the studio, like some on-air stuff and behind the scenes. And yeah, he runs a lot of their media, you know, a lot of the stuff that you see on the Jumbotron and some goal horns and things like that. So yeah, I think they're playing pretty good hockey too. Speaking of the fronts, we do have Shane Wright. I don't think he is part of the Kraken anymore playing hockey games, but his Kraken.
He's going to play.
He's going to play tonight. I thought I saw that last night, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, I saw a thing today. They're saying that, was it today or is he going to play tomorrow? It's today or tomorrow, but they said he's going to play.
I say he's going to suit up, right? Against the Habs. He might have a chip on his shoulder for Montreal passing him last night. So Slavkovsky and Wright tonight. But yeah, let's get after it. A couple things I do want to say, though, if people are just stumbling across this show, welcome in. We appreciate you. This show also available on iTunes and Spotify, of course, Game Plus Network, and live every Tuesday and Thursday on our FTN Network YouTube page. If you're looking for a betting package, ftnbets.com/free, ftndaily.com/free. We are running 3-day trials over at both of those websites. If you're into daily fantasy sports, DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, things like that, the DFS package may float your boat. 3 days, hop on over. You can see that we have some projections and some tools. Discord channel, we have daily articles, and that's across all sports. You have the NFL optimizer, the NBA optimizer, handy for you for a couple of days. And then the betting package, you get all the picks across all sports from everybody. Again, tools, projections, Discord channel, things like that. Of course, I know it's a big week for you football fans out there. Week 14 of the fantasy football season. It's the last week to punch your ticket into the playoffs. So maybe some of those projections, which are already live on our website for this week, maybe they can help you out in fantasy football land. And also my fantasy hockey article is live. A rankings update last night. Not a lot of movement at the forward position, some at the defenseman position, but a lot, in terms of goaltenders. There's a lot of stud goalies that are not performing up to what we thought. And there are a lot of, I guess, under the radar goalies, like some goalies like that have just taken, like Spencer Knight is now the number one goalie in Florida. The Panthers have themselves a $10 million backup. So with that said, let's get under what Meaney is the promo code for you in case you want to just be part of that entire package. Even fantasy hockey articles and rankings the rest of the way for like $6 when you use that promo code Meaney. Now let's get underway officially. 9 games on the ice. Let's start with the most lopsided affair in the jersey you're wearing. I did not like the Devils in the 90s. I wasn't a fan of the way that they played. They always beat the Habs like 2-0. Montreal never got any goals. I remember, I think it was 96. The Canadiens and the Devils played in the playoffs. It was a 4-game sweep. Brodeur had a goal and I think like a couple points. Montreal could only score like 2 or 3 goals in that series. You couldn't do anything against them.
No.
Like Meyer and Scott Stevens, Danico, and then you had Brodeur, and then you had the group of forwards that were just, underrated and really good as well. But they're in action tonight, and they're the biggest favorites on the board at home at -375. Knockout town at +320. And then we have a goal total here sitting at 6.5. 6.5, the over is +100. The Blackhawks would have to do their part. I just want to ask you before we really dive into tonight's game, do you think Patrick Kane is going to get traded? And do you believe he's a good buy low? Would you risk buying low on him in fantasy hockey? Because where you drafted him, you're not getting what he normally gives you. We could call him a bust. Like, he was a guy that we talked about avoiding in draft day. You have him, whatever, it's fine. We know that his skill and his potential is through the roof. I mean, he's a 100-point guy last year. He could do that again on the right team. Even if he got traded tomorrow to like the Devils, he probably won't get 100 points. But would you buy low on him with the thought that maybe he could be on the Devils, maybe he could be on the Rangers or another Stanley Cup contending team?
I would say in most leagues, you probably could trade for him because he's underperformed. But I think just because of name value, even like in leagues where, everyone's dialed in, me and you play in a few of those where it's like everyone is smart and there's just impossible to trade because everyone knows and is aware of the value. Like, if you're trading them now, you're trading them at a low price, right? Like, you're not going to get anything for him because he's not overwhelming. He's not scoring how he should have been for where he was drafted. He's still, accumulating points, and he's still on the ice a ton. He's still, the best player for the Chicago Blackhawks. That's not saying a whole lot, but he still is. And the reality is if you trade him now, you're getting nothing in return because he's not of any value to anyone.
I think you just cut your losses, though.
Yeah, but I guess, is there somebody on the waiver wire that's more valuable than him? I don't think so.
Probably
he's
not.
He's still getting assists. He's still getting points on the power play. Like, Chicago is still an NHL team. They're still going to play the games, and Patrick Kane is still going to be an unbelievable player. There's just nobody there for him to play with. Like, I think so. I looked at the lines this morning. It's him, Taze, and Athanasio. I got both Kane and Athanasio. I picked 2 on every team, and those are the 2 that I would pick to score for Chicago tonight. But yeah, as far as trading them, don't trade them, hold them. if he gets traded, he'll be more valuable. Whether he performs better or not, that's still up for debate. Like he's played his whole life in Chicago, moving to a new city, being on a new team, like you don't just show up and start, and click with guys. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. And I think probably his price tag. What team can afford him?
Well, I mean, the thing is with the I mean, he's on the last year of his deal. He's making 10 million, but if like all that won't go up against the cap, like,
no,
I'm sure there could be something that could be worked out where the Blackhawks take a portion of this salary. And I mean, what are they going to do? Like what Kane, I'm sure wants to leave. I don't know. I'm speculating. He's been a Blackhawk his whole life. I'm sure that's very important to him, but it's the last year of his deal. What's he doing? Is he going to re-up and sign and finish off his career with a rebuilding franchise that's one of the worst in the NHL? I don't think so. Yeah, I would imagine he's on a new team next year. Yep. I saw him get traded for Kevin Fiala in one of my leagues this week, and I was like, wow. You know what? I'd probably rather have Kevin Fiala the rest of the way. Like, give me Kevin Fiala.
Would too. Yeah, I probably would too.
Even if Kane gets traded tomorrow to the Devils and he's playing alongside Jack Hughes, like that's an electric duo. You know what I mean? Like there's risks in acquiring him. Hopefully you don't have to give up too much of your assets, but if you can get a guy that, and you could, we're predicting the future here. We're trying to. It's impossible. But if he were to get traded to a team like the Devils, who are very much in on Johnny Gaudreau, don't tell me that they don't have money to spend. They tried to spend on Johnny Gaudreau. They have pieces as well. Do they want to just stay the course with this core that they have? Or do they want to, do they smell blood here and get a guy like Patrick Kane, multiple cups, one of the best players that we've ever seen play hockey, certainly over the last 15 years. He could add another element to that squad and make them just even more dangerous. It's something to think about. It's a risk, of course, trading a guy like Kevin Fiala or something else on your roster, but it's something that could definitely pay out. So, what are we talking about tonight? I think the Devils win by a couple here. There's been a couple guys that have impressed me for the Chicago. Max Domi, but he's not on that top line, as you mentioned, but he's having a career in terms of ice time, and it looks like he's going to flirt with that big season he had with the Habs. I don't think he's going to get 70+ points, but he should be a 50-point guy. He's going to touch a lot of categories for people the rest of the way. What do you like? You like a couple goal scorers? You got two on each side, you said?
Yeah, I got Kane and Athanasiou and Hughes and Bratt. Those are the guys.
Okay.
Heischer's been great. I think Mercer, probably gets honorable mention because of where he's playing and who he's playing with. And I think his odds are better. But if I'm going to bet on someone to score, it's going to be Hughes and Bratt.
Yeah, I got Hughes here for 2 points at plus 186. I think
we didn't even plan this. We did the New Jersey game first, and I'm wearing New Jersey Devils jersey. Just absolute pros.
I know. I figured we would start with them because it was the most lopsided game on the board, but I did not know that you would be rocking.
And here we are,
an old school
talking about
Devils.
it for 10 minutes.
It's worthy of a conversation. They're sitting here 24-1 with 41 points, and they are the best team in the NHL. The Bruins have also 41 points with a game in hand, but yeah, plus 132 for a Jack Hughes goal over at FanDuel, plus 120 at DraftKings. There's a couple things I like from this game. I actually may give an under. I know you're going with Andreas Athanasiou for a goal, and that makes me a little nervous, but he hasn't had a shot in three straight games. I know he's playing on that top line. I'm going to take an under, guys. I'm going to take an under Andreas Athanasiou. You can have one shot and one goal. That's fine. Under two shots is minus 110 for Athanasiou. But yeah, Jack Hughes, he's minus 104 for an assist. He's plus 186 for 2 points. 4 shots is a lot to ask for. We're seeing, some guys just not get to that mark, but this is a spot where I think he probably could. And he is 3.5. Minus 130 for 3.5 shots. I am going to get involved with Dawson Mercer. You mentioned him. I'm going to get involved with Mercer on that top line. Plus 152 for an assist, minus 134 for a point. I like both of those plays. And if you want to take a shot on a long shot goal scorer, he's plus 245 to find the back of the net. I think the Devils win. I think they probably win by a couple. All right, next one. Ottawa, your Sens in action at home, minus 108, and then the LA Kings at minus 105. Almost wore my Shabbat jersey. Almost wore it, eh? Shabbat back in the lineup, making things happen. I think he came in with the right jersey. I think he came in with the right one. Kings and the Sens, 6.5 is the overs plus 100. Speaking of Kevin Fiala, he's playing really good lately. He's starting to find a groove. I'm waiting for Kempe. I still believe in
He's
Kempe.
shooting the puck, right? It's just a matter of time.
He is. Yeah. Well, is it
I want to talk about Trevor Moore. I mean, dude, he's been really good. He's shooting the puck like crazy. He's moved up to the second line, second power play. This guy's a really good player. He was a really good player in Toronto, a player that I wanted them to keep, and they just couldn't afford it salary cap wise. He's starting to earn more ice time. So in season long leagues, I mean, if he's not owned in a dynasty league, you should go ahead and grab him. But he's a good little player. He's at plus 270 on DraftKings, so I like him to score. Kempe to score. He's plus 150. I mean, he hasn't scored in a bit, but he shoots the puck and it's just a lot of averages. It's going to go for him eventually. I think tonight could be the night. Ottawa side, I got Tkachuk and Batherson. Tkachuk he's quickly becoming one of my favorite players. Brady Tkachuk. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that last game, unreal. Gordie Howe hat trick.
Yeah, he fought Trouba.
What a player!
Scored a big goal. I mean, he's a current top 10 fantasy hockey player in the leagues with hits. And in terms of shots, I mean, this guy just does it every single night. I think some books for the first time, I think I saw this morning 4.5. 3.5 minus 134. Bet Rivers is the best price you're going to get on Brady Tkachuk to have 4 shots. He didn't do it in the last game. He was stuck on 3, but my goodness, like the run that this guy has been on 6, 6, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 4, 8. He's got 5 goals in his last 5 games. Like he has just been on an absolute tear. Stützle looked really good as well.
Yeah.
I think we see some offense. I like the over 6.5. I mean, it's plus money. The Kings just don't have any good goaltending, man. Like they can't keep the puck out of their net.
Can you believe that they waived Cal Peterson?
And immediately after he got shelled against the Kraken and clearly went through waivers. I think he's got like 4 years.
2 years ago, right? He was the guy. They paid him. Quick is on his way out. He's old. We can't trust him anymore. Cal Peterson's our number 1 guy, and they just waived him. For a team that's like, they're right there, right? Like Doughty is definitely at the end of his career, but still a very good player. Yeah, they're right there. They're right in the mix to really do something. But again, it's goaltending. God, I mean, it's so much of this. It's just throw a dart. Goaltending remains and will always be black magic voodoo. Who knows?
I know. Do you have any quick? I had to drop him. I have a little bit of him. I had to cut ties. He just lets in 3 or 4 every single night. I can't.
I don't have him any season long, but I know I was all over the Kings in hockey best ball or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple guys that are shooting on this team. There's a couple. Honestly, I think this could be a fun little fantasy game. You got Brady Tkachuk there for a goal.
This will be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tim Stützle. Alex DeBrincat is shooting again. See, there's really a lot I actually like in this game. Like Kevin Fiala, 2.5 shots. He's been shooting. He's been hitting the score sheet. Brady Tkachuk, 3.5 shots. And then there's some other guys like secondary guys. I mean, Alex DeBrincat has been shooting again. Man, he's having a rough year. I still view him as a pretty good buy low candidate. I wonder if he's traded. The Sens, like the season hasn't gone as well as they thought. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not even going to come close to making the playoffs. And I'm sure they want to keep Alex DeBrincat as like a part of the future, but maybe it just doesn't work out. Maybe he's a guy that's, flipped at the deadline. He's got 6 goals on the season, but he is, like I said, he's starting to shoot. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row where he's had at least 3 shots. And books have he's back up to 3.5. So it's really tough to get behind this. But if you are looking for a plus money play, I know there's some people out there. I mean, the shot props are juiced these days. Alex DeBrincat at 3.5 is plus 130. I don't mind that. I'm not getting involved with the 2 points. I mean, he hasn't had a multi-point game in quite some time. But Tim Stützle is hitting the score sheet. Drake Batherson is even money for 3 shots. This guy is shooting a lot, minus 106 over at Bet Rivers. Drake Batherson has at least 3 shots in 4 straight games and 6 of his past 7. Claude Giroux for an assist. I like Giroux's having a pretty good season as well for an Apple. So I'm going to round out.
Unbelievable season.
Man, 11 goals. I never would have thought that he'd have 11 here through the first 2 months of the season.
I wanted to, a thing that Troy said about Marashenko earlier. I want to just toot my own horn. I got him in our salary cap league where we carry minor league players. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a good guy to have. I had him and Parisian for the Nashville. So 2 guys that could go, and Kraftstoff for New York. So I got my minor league guys are pretty stacked up in that league. I'm doing pretty well.
You're doing all right, I think. Yeah. Man, okay. I want to try to narrow it down here. This could be a fun little same game parlay for those for those that are like I think you could I may do something like this in the bet tracker. For those that are hanging out Bet365, yeah, Dustin is. He's a Bet365 guy here. Kachuk shots and Kachuk point parlay. Am the artist, good morning. Happy belated to you. I know it was your birthday not too long ago.
Yeah, that's right. Another one of the listeners said it was your birthday, so happy birthday, man.
Adam Reinkamp, what's up? Brent Burns Day. Yeah, the whole crew is in the house here. Can we do a Bet365? Can we do this? Let's do this on the fly for the people. I think this is going to happen. You have give me the updated lines. Make sure the Sens didn't do anything differently with their lines. Are they still rolling out Stützle, Kachuk, and
I mean, I can look right now, but will they have them up for today? I mean, because the Senators can get wild, man.
I know they mess around too much. I don't like it. The Kings have been keeping things pretty normal here with that top line. And you know what? They're starting to find a bit of a groove too. Maybe not Kempe. It's only a matter of time, I do believe. But Kopitar and Fiala are racking up points. Like they are racking up points. Here, I'm going to do a little point parlay here for you guys. Kempe point, Kopitar point. Where's Fiala? He's not even on here. Come on. Brady Kachuk is at, Brady Kachuk, Tim Stützle. So even just those 4, that's pretty decent. I wish I could put Fiala on here. I'm not sure why he's not showing up at 365. Kempe point, Kopitar point, Kachuk point, Tim Stützle point. That pays plus 425 for all those guys to have a point, and they correlate pretty well. Honestly, if you guys could find Fiala, I'd put Fiala in there, and then maybe getting a little bit greedy, but putting Giroux in there potentially. What do you got for the top line? What is Daily Faceoff showing?
Top as of yesterday, top line was Stützle, Giroux, and Brady Kachuk.
Okay, I would put Giroux in there. You'd have some fun with these guys. They're really fun, man. Unfortunately, it's the only book. I know some people have reached out to me and said that they can't do this, unfortunately, but got to take care of the people in Ontario, Game Plus Network, and things like that. Bet365 definitely available there. Kempe, Kopitar, Kachuk, Stützle, and Giroux all for a point. That's plus 650. And like I said, I would add in Kevin Fiala. He's the guy I probably feel the best about, because him and he, just like Kachuk, they're both really feeling it. And that would probably pay 8-1 for all those guys to have a point. And then you could get crazy. Like I'd put half a unit on that and maybe 0.25 units on that to add like Fiala shots, Brady shots, maybe Kempe shots, and leave it at that. But like I said, I mean, you could go Fiala, Brady, DeBrincat, Kempe. I'll cross off DeBrincat. 3.5's a lot. Fiala, Brady, Kempe, Drake Batherson. Oh, baby. Who are your goal scorers before we wrap up from this game? This would be fun.
Kachuk, Batherson, Kempe, and Moore.
Okay. Yeah, I like Kempe.
Moore's mostly because he's at 270, and he's playing on the second line in the second power play and is shooting the puck like a complete lunatic. So that's why I got him in there. I wouldn't. The Kings are Fiala.
Yeah. Just you're trying to find some good odds. Yeah. I like that second line. They generate a lot. That's a line that you can stream this week. The Kings are interesting. They have 4 games, and they're one of 2 teams to play on Saturday and Sunday. So if you're looking for action on the back end of the week for your head-to-head matchup, you get some Kings in there, have that Saturday and Sunday game. And there's pretty good spots too. I think Montreal and then Troy's Blue Jackets in there. So pretty good spots for the Kings to have a nice week here in week 9 of the fantasy hockey season. All right, I like the over. Offense. Give us offense, LA and Ottawa. I think we'll see offense in this one too, Troy. Blue Jackets and the Pittsburgh Penguins. We have 6.5, the total here. And Pittsburgh, massive favorites at 275. Columbus checking in at plus 230. So as I don't know where he's going to play. I was looking it up. Marchenko. Yeah, he is. Troy is all over this. And let's bring up this comment from him, Tyler. Marchenko is a physical freak that was performing Michigan goals in the KHL. Now that he has 20 plus games in the AHL, he fixed his off the puck positioning. I cannot wait to see this absolute monster. I'm intrigued as well. I know. I'm intrigued as well.
I want to get a studio apartment in Columbus and go to every game with him.
I would love it as well. I don't know if he's in the Columbus area or not, but we need to, because he's going.
I'm not in the Columbus area either. I'll leave my wife.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I would love anything like he loves the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I'm pretty sure he's near the top in AHL scoring. I just I want to check here quickly. Yeah, he's got 19 points. Second AHL scoring, 8 goals, 11 assists, 16 games. Expected to make his debut tonight. I don't know if we'll see. I don't know where he plays. Troy, where do you think he plays in the lineup? I mean, they have Patrick Laine back together. That he obviously is not going to get top spot. He probably plays like third, fourth line, but he should get some power play time. He lives on the Long Island. Wait, can we all just form like Anchorman as a group? We all just form together. The calling as a Dangle Betzelli calling. We meet up in Ohio, in Columbus. We watch the Blue Jackets play. Patrick Laine hat trick. Hear the cannon go off. What do you like from this game?
I gotta connect with the ticket guy there. This guy Marty that I know. So we'll figure that out.
He loves fishing not too much to live at Long Island. I like that. We didn't know that about you, Troy. Big fishing guy. You'd really like the East Coast here in Canada. Lots of fishing happening.
I wonder if Troy watched my fishing show.
Oh yeah,
that's not a.
How long ago was that?
Geez, almost 10 years now, but.
Big fisherman, EY. You got to have some goal scorers in this one. I think we see some goals. I think we see some offense.
In Columbus and Pitt, I like Rust at 135, and Raquel has been playing really good. Like if you watch Pittsburgh games, he's been jumping off the page or jumping out of the screen. Like there's something about him. He's just got he's playing really good, and he's playing with good players, playing important minutes, and he's at plus 180. Then you got Laine at 155 and Boone Jenner at plus 240. And I think Marchenko could play in the top 2 lines. I mean, like Columbus is decimated. You bring a guy like that in that's scoring, he might as well play in the top line.
Would you think about an upset here? Evgeny Malkin and Malkin and Crosby are both game time decisions. They're dealing with an illness though. Like they've been away from the team. There's been a lot of illnesses going around, man. When we get to Florida, I don't know what's going on with Barkov. I think there's something going on with him. Florida's been so hush-hush about his availability. But I noticed Russ as well. Russ was on my he just broke out in the last game. What a rough season for him to start. I had to drop him in one league. I hung on in another one. He broke out with a goal and 4 points in his last game. He only has 14 points in the season. He's minus 10. He really just has not been doing a whole lot. But I'm going to put him on my card. You got him to score, which makes me feel good. I was going to take a shot on his shot prop because it's not that juiced at minus 125 over at Caesars. Now, DraftKings has minus 145. Man, books are really all over this. But he has had 3+ shots in 3 straight games. He's been stuck on 2 for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games. He's been right at that 2, but he has cleared in 4 of those 7. And as I mentioned, 3 straight. A guy that has been hitting actually is Crosby. Maybe you want to wait this one out just to see if he is actually going to suit up. He's too juice. It's kind of like you got to put him into a parlay and away you go. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the Blue Jackets lines shake out here tonight. You think he could potentially be inside the top 6? I mean, there's not a lot to offer. I can't imagine him being on the first line, but there's no reason for him not maybe to play on the second here.
Troy saying he thinks third line.
It makes more sense.
You're not yet. I mean, that does make more sense, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was in the top 6, and I feel like he'll probably get power play time too.
Boone Jenner is like the one blue jacket that I feel confident in taking for shot props. I mean, he's hit more times than not. He has hit in 4, 5 of his last 6 games. He's at a decent price at -140. So there's 2 guys from this game. We got Boone Jenner and then Brian Rust at 2.5. Think about maybe an assist or a point, -124 for a point for Boone Jenner. He's +170 for an assist. I mean, when you play with Goudreau and Patrick Laine is back in the lineup and he's shooting the puck, could happen, right? He could fall into an assist. Marchenko line 3, even strength and power play 1 is what he's thinking. And he also needs to see your fishing show. I think we all do. We need to get some clips and play them on this show. Tampa Bay -230 at home. Red Wings +195. Anthony Cirelli back in the lineup, so keep an eye on him. I think maybe there's eventually he kind of takes his spot back inside the top 6, but don't be surprised if the Lightning start to go on a bit of a run here. Cirelli is a nice 2-way forward. Just think about him now all of a sudden on the 3rd line for the Lightning, and this is a team that is starting to get healthy and going here at the right time. But Nicholas Paul, man, I asked Fox to put him on the board. He just continues to impress me every night. I think he scores again tonight. And the Red Wings have been pretty impressive as well on the other side, EY.
Yeah, I feel like Tampa's kind of starting to find their groove. And yet Vasilevsky has been still up and down. I mean, the addition of Cirelli is massive for them down the middle. The big thing is Paul has been a force of nature, man. He is so every good. Time you watch them, he is all over the ice, making plays, forechecking like a lunatic, giant guy, can skate, can shoot, good vision. I like him to score. He's on second line and playing on the second power play, and he's on a heater right now. So I like him to score. Stamkos at +110. Then on the other side, I've got Larkin at 210 and David Perron at 245.
Nice. So I don't see Paul on DraftKings, but he's on FanDuel at +290. He's at FanDuel at +290 is a pretty good price. He's -110 for a point. -110 for a point is really good price as well. If you don't like the goal, you don't want to take a shot on the goal, +176 for an assist, right? I mean, he's playing with Stammer. It's on that second power play. And I think we could see Tampa get to a couple goals here tonight. Detroit has played pretty good hockey this season. I've been pretty impressed with them. They're getting some good goaltending. I think they're hanging around, right, in a playoff spot. If the playoffs began today, they would be in a playoff spot. So they certainly deserve our respect. Brendan Hagel slowed down a little bit, but he's still playing that top line. Like I said, I think there's they could put Cirelli, they could move Cirelli in the middle, Paul to the wing. There's some things that they could do in the future. But as of right now, we are seeing a guy in Nicholas Paul who's playing really good hockey, and Braden Point as well, who's been shooting here and there. Kucherov, maybe a 2-point night. There's not a whole lot I like from this game because the shot props are just so juiced. But if I'm going to call 2 goals, it would be Paul and it would be Kucherov. On the other side, I do like Kubalik. Kubalik, man, is this another player that the Blackhawks decided that they didn't want any part of for whatever reason? But Kubalik, up to 10 goals and 24 points in the season. He's hit the score sheet in 3 of his last 4, and he's been shooting quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 7 games. He's had at least 3 shots. We should be able to get a good price because it's the Lightning. Man, these shot props are killing me. -143. It's a bit much. It really is a bit much. Philip Hronik's been a really good player too. I'm sure he's scooped up in most fantasy hockey leagues. I think he's available here in a couple of mine. But yeah, man, 22 points in the year, shooting the puck, throwing his body around, hit some blocks. Pretty interesting. Lightning, or you got an upset here? No?
No, I don't think so. Not with Cirelli back. Like I think I think it's going to really show how much of an important player he is for Tampa Bay, just to kind of like solidify the lineup and have them super, super difficult to play against down the middle. He's such an important player for them.
-150 to win in regulation. It's okay. I think they probably get it done. All right, Troy's game. Islanders At home, minus 162. The best odds I'm seeing in the Blues checking in at plus 145. The Blues may have a chance to win this game because Jordan Binnington's not going to play. Man, that guy is not only is he a little bit of a head case, I think, but he's also, I don't think, in the right frame of mind. He's letting in a lot of goals lately. He's chirping all the time. He's trying to lay people out. He got shelled again last night by the Rangers. So this game here, I can never get a real good feel on the Islanders. They're not the same stingy 5-5 squad. They do have really good goaltending. Like if I was to rank goalies the rest of the way, I may put Sorokin at number 1. In fact, I did rank them the rest of the way over at FTNFantasy.com. Sorokin is in that conversation for me with Igor Shesterkin, and I still do believe in Andre Vasilevsky. The one guy I don't believe in as much anymore that I had near the top is Markstrom. He's just not getting the starts right now. But
Vladar's been better.
He has been. He deserves to start over him.
Yep.
Crazy. It's a nice little $6 million backup. Troy says apparently Casey DeSmith is still sick and the Penguins can't use an AHL call-up, so they're using some guy, Chason, who is allegedly atrocious. Yeah, that's what I mean about the Blue Jackets. Maybe a live dog here. They may be. They went into Winnipeg the other day and won a game. There's the flu going on here. I may take a shot on them, like a 0.25. I'm doing it. 0.25. I don't know, like not a full unit, maybe half a unit on an upset here with the Blue Jackets. Oh, the flu going around in the Pittsburgh dressing room. It's possible. We can get a W here. Tonight, what do you like from the Islanders? Let's help Troy win some cash.
I mean, Nelson he's having a great year. He's probably been the most important and most consistent player for the Islanders. Barzell, like, not the scorer, but he's so fun to watch. Can just skate. He has 2 goals and still, like, I think he leads them in points with 26 points or whatever it is. But I like Nelson and Lee. Nelson's 140 and Lee is plus 170. The blue side, and like Tarasenko at 210, and Jordan Kyrou is starting to show up. Statistically not yet, but it looks like he's starting to feel it a little bit, and I like him at plus 265.
Yeah, that's pretty good odds. You know, you're getting those odds because I think Sorokin. So, like, you're going to be able to find some good odds, Troy, if you want to take a blue or two. Yeah, and if you are taking a blue, I mean, the only blue players I would take to score goals would be Kyrou, Tarasenko, or Buchnevich. Like, those are the shooters. So Tarasenko's got goals in back-to-back games. Buchnevich has goals in 3 straight and 5 of his past 7. That's the way that I would lean. You like Kyrou? I like Kyrou too. I mean, he's up to 10 goals in the season. He scored last night. Yep. I'll lean with Buchnevich. So you got Kyrou, I got Buchnevich. I think those are some pretty good options for Troy to find the back of the net. Troy, if you're looking for some shot props, I mean, those are the 3 guys as well. I would rank them Kyrou, Tarasenko, Buchnevich that way. On the other side of this game, the Islanders, you mentioned Brock Nelson. I got this weird thing about Zach Parise. I called him the other night for a goal. It didn't happen, but he did score in his last game. He's got 8 goals in the season. He's quietly, when I look at some of the 5-5 numbers and guys like generating high danger chances and scoring chances, he's a guy that kind of like shows up in among names that you wouldn't expect, right? Like with some elite hockey players, Zach Parise. Do you have any shares of Zach Parise in your fantasy hockey leagues, you psycho?
I do not. I didn't know he was still in the
league. He picked up 2 power play points the other night. He's plus 740 for a power play point. He's plus 340 for a goal over at DraftKings. Troy, there's your long shot goal scorer tonight. Zach Parise. I'd say the Islanders win the game in the second half of a back-to-back. As long as Sorokin's between the pipes, I would say that. Yeah, I think Jari is Joey's in the house commenting on the Casey DeSmith mention. I think Jari is starting. Columbus also played Pittsburgh so well earlier in the season. They were up early, and then the refs just gave them 20 penalty minutes. Jacob Gambala in the house. Jars has been holding the net down with no DeSmith and is the better goalie anyway. Absolutely. Yes, Penn's 2.5. 2.5. He's on the big win here for the Penguins tonight. Puck line 2.5. That might pay pretty good. Joey says, as a Pens fan, I've always liked Jerry way more. Probably mostly feel that way because Tom and Jerry art on his helmet is sick. It is actually pretty cool. I like that helmet, but I think he's a better goalie. Yeah, I think we all agree that he is a better goalie than Casey DeSmith. He has more upside than Casey DeSmith. This is the last year of his deal, though, right? Yes.
I think so.
We could see a new goalie in Pittsburgh next year. Yeah, Tristan Jarry, last year, final year of his deal. I don't know if they bring him back. We'll see. He's not playing lights out. He was earlier, but he's not playing lights out. Brent Burns, anytime goal.
I think this season has been the better goalie out of the two.
Yeah, he has. And I think that Jarry's the better one, but DeSmith has been better, yeah. All right, so 4 games to wrap up here. This one should be entertaining. Florida and Winnipeg. The Jets are home dogs, plus 100 over at DraftKings, and the Panthers are checking in at minus 115. I put both goalies on here. Connor Hellebuyck is the number 1 goalie in fantasy hockey to date, and Spencer Knight has been absolutely fantastic, and he has taken over that net in Florida. I don't know about Barkov. Like I said earlier, they're kind of being hush-hush. He's missed a few games due to an illness.
He traveled with them, right, though?
Well, he rejoined them. He didn't travel. Yeah, he missed the first 2 games. He did join them so I don't know. Is he going to suit up tonight? He's already out. Illness. He's not going to be in the game tonight. So he's already ruled out. Barkov is, quote, getting close, but he's going to miss his 6th consecutive game. I mean, I'm not going to speculate. I don't know what's going on, but man, he's got to be really sick to miss 6 straight games in a row. I don't know if it's COVID. I have no idea what's going on there. We got Paul Maurice revenge tonight. If that means anything to you, head coach of the Panthers going up against his former squad. Man, there's a lot to like on both sides here. I know there's really good goaltending, and Knight's been playing good, and Connor Hellebuyck's been playing really good, but man, I think we could see some offense because there's a couple different ways to go here. Where are you going?
I mean, I'm going with our regulars for Winnipeg, Connor and PLD to score. Connor's at plus 100. He's starting to round into form. PLD's probably been the best player for the Winnipeg Jets. The surprising Winnipeg Jets. They've been really, really good. Again, how many times have we said this? You show me a good goalie, I'll show you a good team. And Connor Hellebuyck looks like Connor Hellebuyck again. I still like Florida as a team. I still like Kachuk to score here at plus 145. And Connor Verhaeghe has been super underrated all year. And he's still, they're giving me a plus 210. I'll take that.
I really like Cole Perfetti. I really have noticed Cole Perfetti lately. So they got Pierre-Luc Dubois and Kyle Connor back together. And I think that's fantastic. That's a duo that I like. I like the call. I think Connor scores as well, but I'm going to go with Cole Perfetti. He's minus 110 for a point and he's plus 310 for a goal. So he's on that top line with Scheifele and Wheeler, and Wheeler's actually been amazing lately. He's checks in with a 5-game point streak, and he's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points over that span. He's got 12 points over his last 6 games. He had a hat trick the other night against the Avalanche on a 4-point night, and he's shooting a lot. I would consider selling high. I think he's a good player, but he's not a great fantasy hockey player because he doesn't shoot a lot and he gets more assists than goals. I would consider selling high on this run, but Cole Perfetti also has a 5-game point streak with 1 goal over that span and 7 points. He's starting to see his ice time jump up just a touch. So I may get involved, like a really, really small bet on him to have a power play point at plus 410. But for him to have a point, that's going to be a unit for me at minus 110. And for him to find the back of the net at plus 310. I also like Scheifele shots. Scheifele, I think I saw a decent price for Mark Scheifele. I just want to double check, guys. Mark Scheifele, 2.5 shots is plus money. That's what I thought. He's had at least 3 shots in 4 straight games, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 of his past 10, he's been at least 3 shots. So finally, we can find a shot prop that's good. Even though, like, this Florida team, obviously they dominate possession. They have, they usually own possession of the puck quite a bit. There is one guy I want to mention to you, and I'm sure you know as the fantasy hockey psycho that you are. But man, with Lindell out and Barkov out, this Florida team is obviously all of a sudden very, very thin down the middle. Love the first line. You mentioned what? Verhaeghe, Bennett, and Kachuk. Like, that's a line to attack tonight in terms of you're looking for points and shots. I think we could see the shots from Verhaeghe. You got him to score. But E2, Luosterainen, yes. 0% owned in ESPN leagues. He's got 4 points over his last 5 games. His last 2 games, Eric, he's played 21 and 19 minutes. He's got 4 shots over that span. He's going to center the second line tonight in Florida with Reinhart and Nick Cousins. And I haven't been able to find anything on him. But I'll tell you what, he may be worth a sprinkle. He may be worth your time in DraftKings. Here we go. I just refreshed. He's plus 450. Plus 450 to score a goal tonight. We're going off the board here. Cole Perfetti, Zach Parise. We got Luosterainen. I'm pretty sure I've messed up that pronunciation, but plus 460 for a goal. If I could find anywhere for him to get a point, I would be in on it. He's going to get power play time too, guys. He picked up a power play point in his last game. And the artist says Panthers lineup so sick. Lindell is out tonight. Ekblad shots. I like Ekblad. For shots, Scheifele, Bennett, Verhaeghe, and then I think, point for Perfetti. Maybe a little sprinkle anytime goal here for Luosterainen, and away we go. Am the artist says, what's up with Connor this year? Honestly, I looked into Connor quite a bit about a week and a half ago. All of his numbers are where they should be. His shooting percentage is an all-time career low. The goals are starting to come lately. If you look at the back of the hockey card, you see that the goals are starting to pile up. So he's starting to get some puck luck go his way, but he's right there among the leaders in high danger chances, shot attempts at 5-5, all those things that, he was right there last year as well. One more game before we get out of here for the people in Toronto and Dallas, and then you'll have to come over to wrap up to see the Seattle and Montreal and Carolina and Anaheim. So Toronto and Dallas, I'll let you take it away. We got Mitch Marner, who's riding a massive point streak, just past the franchise record in Toronto in his last game. And then you have Jason Robertson, another guy who's just like a points. These guys every night, points. What do you like from this matchup tonight? It should be a really good game.
Yeah, I like both of those guys to score. Marner at 175, Robertson at 115, Nylander at 175. Nylander is putting together like super quietly. Everyone's talking about Marner and Matthews, of course, but Nylander is often the forgotten guy. Tavares as well, but Nylander is, he's putting together an unbelievable statistical season, and no one is really talking about it. Being a Toronto Maple Leafs fan from birth, following the team very closely. A couple of weeks ago, it's like the sky is falling, of course. This team is
they're winning the
cup. They're right there, right? Like they're winning games and beating good teams with an AHL defense core. Like they're missing everybody. Sheldon Keefe is doing an unbelievable job. People that want him fired are They're fools. They're fools. There's something going on for sure with them not being able to make it out of the first round of the playoffs. But they're going to make the playoffs, and we're going to see what goes on. Obviously, things will have to change if they don't get out of the first round again. That's pretty obvious. I think something will definitely happen. But until it does, let's just concentrate on what's happening. This is a really good team. Dallas is a really good team. Onger has continued his goaltending from last season. The unbelievable playoff run from him. And Rupe Hintz just signed a deal, and dude, what a player he is. Finally fully healthy. The last year it was like half the games he played and half the games he didn't. But if he played, you bet on him to score, and he scored almost every game. So I like him to score as well at plus 160.
Yeah, I mean, Robertson and Mitch Marner are both riding 18-game point streaks. It's hard not to,
I'm betting on both of the Robertson boys to score as well.
Okay, Nick's
playing on the second line and playing power play time. He's been really good, man. He's all over it. He's been in there, just hasn't got one to go. I think he gets one to go tonight.
I don't know about the over daily handle. I like both of these goalies. Murray's playing pretty good, and I also like, as you mentioned, in net with Jake Ottinger. We do got to get out of here. We got to say goodbye to Game Plus Network, but I'd say Robertson at 3.5 shots is actually at a pretty good price, and Mitch Marner. Both of these guys, point streaks. Maybe they're shooting the puck a little bit more towards the end of the game, just trying to fight and get that extra goal as possible. But even still, they've both been clearing this consistently over the past, during this 18-game point streak that they have. Pavelski's plus 130 for an assist. I like Robertson to score. There's just no way you can slow this guy down. Nylander, I like to score as well, and I think he's worthy of putting into a shot prop. We're going to say goodbye to Game Plus Network. I'm going to take the Dallas Stars on home ice, where they are really, really strong on home ice for the most part. Hop on over to our FTN Network YouTube page, see the rest of our plays. You guys are going to call it 75 goal scorers for you. Have a good Tuesday, and we'll be back on Thursday. Cheers. Okay. Tyler, just send a little note. We said goodbye around the 49-minute mark. See if they could get that last game in there for us. Adam, not a bad idea to bet both Dallas and Winnipeg to win the division with the McKinnon injury. You know what? That's actually a pretty good idea. The Avs are hurting. Did you see their lineup last night? It was actually worse, I think, than the Flyers lineup that rolled out. I mean, I know that you have Mikko Rantanen, McKinnon, and Cale Makar, and those three are all superstars. But I mean, Alex Galchenyuk, Charles Hudon, those guys are former Habs that couldn't crack the lineup years ago. My goodness, I couldn't even believe what I saw last night. The Flyers, they took care of them. What do you think? What do you think of? Do we know the extent of the McKinnon injury? I don't know if we know. I didn't see anything as of this morning, but not a bad idea actually to get involved with maybe one of those two teams to win the division. Do you think? Avs have missed the playoffs. 15 to 1
to win the division with a healthy Colorado, and they're banged up bad.
Dallas is plus 250 to win the division. The Jets are 9 to 1 to win the division. I think that's a really good bet, Adam.
Yeah,
super sharp. Super sharp. I don't know if I'd get involved with the Avs, but a lot of injuries. Nutrition's going to come back here soon. I think he's really close, but Lehkonen is out, Landeskog's out, defense is out. Yeah, they're one goalie injury away from, I guess, being a bottom 10 team in the league. It's crazy, right? And that's what's so impressive about Tampa and the run that they went on. It's so tough to just have another good season in a row. You hear a Stanley Cup hangover, but things just have to go so perfectly for you. Obviously, you have to be able to stay healthy, but that's certainly not the case in Colorado this year. Anaheim at home, plus 245, and Carolina at minus 265. I like Svechnikov and Martin Necas both to score. If Carolina scores goals, it just seems to be those two players. I'm really, really impressed with Martin Necas. This is a guy that I've been putting in for parlays at 2.5 shots. It's just too tough to take him as a single, but he has cleared in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games. And over those 7 games, he's got 4 goals, and in 3 of them have come over his last 4 games. It's been very, very impressive to me. And on the other side, Svechnikov is it's the same thing, right? It's these two guys are the goal scorers for the Carolina Hurricanes. He's got 2 goals in his last 3 games. The Ducks are among the leaders in high danger chances allowed, expected goals, goals against, shot attempts, and shots allowed. And the Hurricanes on the flip side, this is a team that they seem to own the puck nonstop. I know there was a comment earlier about Brent Burns. I like Brent Burns as well. If you want to get involved with him to score a goal, potentially as a long shot, or have a shot prop with Brent Burns, I do think we'll see Carolina probably put up 40 pucks towards the goal tonight.
Yeah, I like Aho at 130, and Marty Necas I think he's having the year that we thought he was going to have last year.
Yeah,
it's Nick Castle or Svechnikov to score, and he's a 165. Anaheim, look, I mean, I feel like this team will be decent at some point. They're not there yet. Poor Gibson back there just getting bombed every night. Just still putting up pretty decent stats other than wins. So, that's something. If you have a goalie categories where a bunch of other categories, he's not going to give you a bunch of wins, but he's going to give you good goaltending in all the other categories. So that's something to keep an eye on. Troy Terry just seems to score every night, plus 195. And I'm still on Adam Henrique. I mean, this is a really good player playing a bunch of really important minutes for them. And if you're going to give me odds like 295 for a guy that's playing on the top line in the top power play, sign me up.
Adam's saying Bednar said about an hour ago, it doesn't look promising for Nate. Wow.
I've got
Adam Reitkamp in the house says Slavin, Shea, Pesce, all plus 700 or higher to score tonight. Yeah, I mean, you're looking for some long shots. This is, I guess, the game to do it. Carolina, though, man, there's something about this team. We said it before. So many times I've seen this team have 40 plus shots and then finish with like 2 goals. They're just they're underwhelming. That's really what it is. They don't
and they
score a
shoot
lot
it
of
from
goals.
everywhere, right? Like that's Brendan Moore's thing.
Brendan Moore's thing.
He wants pressure, he wants forechecking, he wants skating, and he wants you just flipping the puck. Yeah, I mean, you've heard this. You played hockey most of your life. I played hockey most of my life. Put it on net. Put it on net. Good things happen when you put it on net, and they do. They shoot from everywhere. So yeah, 40 shots, but with NHL goalies, 30 of those, there's no chance of it going in. Right? They're just trying to create rebounds and whatever. I still have, I talked about this last year with theory on these, Carolina being this unbelievable regular season team, and you think they're going to go into the playoffs and just dominate, and they look like a different team. And I think it has something to do with fatigue. Brendan Moore rolls all four lines. He wants all these guys forechecking. If you watch Carolina play, like it just seems like there's two guys on the puck every time the puck is anywhere on the ice. Like you said earlier, how they possess the puck, how they have the puck most of the time. Well, that takes incredible skating. Like you got to be, the tracking nowadays is out of this world. I'd love to see the amount of distance covered by Carolina players overall. I think it would probably be number one in the league, and they get into the playoffs and they're burnt out. You can't play like that 82 games and then expect to do that in the playoffs as well. And I think there's something there. So
having Teuvo Teravainen back helps. He's slated to be on the second line tonight with Svechnikov and Jesperi Kotkaniemi. I mean, that's the reason I can't consider this team to go deep in the playoffs, and Kotkaniemi is their second line center. Teuvo Teravainen is minus 140 for a point. He's plus 144 for an assist. I think that's okay. Martin Necas is my guy. I like Svechnikov. I'm seeing plus 120 over at FanDuel for a goal, but Necas is plus 200 over at FanDuel for him to find the back of the net. Both of these guys are at 3.5 shots, so it's really tough to take either of them. But I could see both of them finishing with 4. If I had a preference, it would actually be Martin Necas, and you can get Brent Burns for over 2.5 shots and minus 180 for DraftKings. But again, you have to put that into a parlay. He's minus 122 for an assist. He's plus 172 for a power play point. But as Adam mentioned earlier, you can get plus 425 for him to score a goal. I think the Hurricanes win this game by a couple. I'm going to put them into a parlay with the Kraken as we wrap up here with Seattle and Montreal, into both of these teams to win in 60, Carolina and Seattle at plus 144. If you wanted to add Tampa in there, getting a little greedy now, guys, but that plays plus 307 for the Lightning, the Kraken, and the Hurricanes to win in 60. I would imagine they win on the puck line here. And also the time of the year right now to pick up Max Pacioretty. If you can afford it, pick him up. He's skating with the team. He's really not expected back until late January, early February, is an Achilles injury. But if you have an IR spot, pick him up, because when he is in the lineup, he's either going to play in that first line or that second line. And what we know about Pacioretty, wherever he has played, he loves to shoot the puck, and he has a knack for scoring. So he could really be a nice boost to your fantasy hockey squad down the stretch of the season. Then the last game here tonight, as I mentioned, the Kraken at home, minus 240, and the Habs at plus 220. So I was in the Habs last night. I was really feeling them. Again, if you were a Bet365, you got the early payout bonus. I think that they're in trouble tonight on the second half of a back-to-back. They're going to go to the better goalie in Jake Allen, who's played much better lately. But there's some guys all of a sudden missing from this Habs lineup. Gallagher's out a couple weeks. Sean Monahan, who scored again last night. He's been fantastic for Montreal, especially on that first power play. He left with an injury. David Savard is out with an injury. So not that they're a deep team anyways, but injuries are starting to pile up with this squad, and the Kraken have played really good hockey, especially of late. So I can't imagine. I'm not going to get involved with too many Habs here. Kraken are a very stingy team. What do you got on the Seattle side of things? Maybe you do have
the regular.
I mean, if it's anybody from
guys,
Montreal, Suzuki or Caulfield, I'm sure.
Caulfield, and I'm going to go Doc again. He's 340. I understand he hasn't scored in a couple games, but he's playing important minutes with really good players, and he's plus 340. And on the Seattle side, Burakovsky and Beniers at plus 210. Beniers at 210 was surprising to me. I mean, he's been the guy all year for them,
and he's still widely available in fantasy hockey leagues. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm going to drink some juice with him. I like the goal as well. Plus 215 over at FanDuel. And he is minus 148 for a point, and he's plus 146 for an assist. I really like that line tonight. Matthew Beniers, Jordan Eberle, and Jared McCann. I think Eberle is in play for shots. and also for a goal. He's plus 140 for 3 shots. We've been down this road before from Eberle. I gave one before and he didn't hit, but he has been shooting a little bit more. He's minus 132 for a point. I think the Kraken probably score 4 or 5 goals tonight, guys. Maybe a Burakovsky assist, a Matty Beniers goal or a point, however you want to play your bets, and maybe a Jordan Eberle goal at plus 260, or maybe a Jordan Eberle point there at minus 132. As I mentioned, I think the Kraken have been pretty good. A couple of defensemen I want to throw at you guys in the season long. Justin Schultz, I think he's a must add, even though he's not getting top power play time. He's on that second unit. And guess who else is on that second unit for some reason? Matty Beniers. So that's been the better second unit, that power play. Beniers and Schultz have really been hitting the score sheet. And then LA, I meant to mention Sean Dursey. This guy's got a power play point in 4 straight games. A lot of offensive upside for the Kings, and some of those guys that have had slow starts, like we mentioned, are starting to pick it up a little bit. Kraken win by a couple. All right, let's wrap up. Mikey O, big Doc fan, Kirby Doc. Yeah, we're all Kirby Doc fans. Kirby Doc. What you got? Got some goal scorers for us?
All right, I'm going to do my best. Stamkos, Paul, Larkin, Perron, Hughes, Bratt, Kane, Athanasiou, Rust, Raquel, Laine, Jenner, Brady Tkachuk, Batherson, Kempe, Moore, Nelson, Lee, Tarasenko, Kyrou, Connor, PLD, Tkachuk, Verhaeghe, Marner, Nylander, Robertson, nod to the other Robertson, and Hintz, Burakovsky, Beniers, Caulfield, Doc, Aho, Necas, Terry, and Henrique. Lock it in.
Lock it in. I don't have as many goal scorers, but I will rattle off a couple here, and I will start with Jack Hughes and Dawson Mercer. Those are my 2 Devils guys. On the LA side of things, I like Adrian Kempe and I like Tim Stützle. I like Patrick Laine for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I like Brian Rust and Jake Gensel for the Penguins. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, I like Nicholas Paul and Nikita Kucherov. For the Blues, I like Pavel Buchnevich. And for the Islanders, we're going long shot here with Zach Parise. For the Florida Panthers, I actually didn't have a goal scorer for the Panthers. I'm going to go. You went with Verhaeghe. I like Verhaeghe. I went with E2 as like that long shot point guy. I actually will go with him at plus 460 for a goal for the Panthers, right? No Lindell, no Barkov in there. And on the Jets side of things, another long shot guy in Cole Perfetti. So like, don't put a full unit on these guys. I mean, Parise and Cole Perfetti, we're getting like at plus 310 and plus 360. And E2 is a plus 460. For the Maple Leafs, William Nylander and Jason Robertson. For the Hurricanes, Martin Necas and Andrei Svechnikov. And then for the Kraken, I like Matty Beniers and Jordan Eberle there. I do like the Kraken in 60. I like them on the puck line. I like the Carolina Hurricanes in 60 on the puck line. I like Dallas Stars at home. I'm going to take the Jets as home dogs here. Florida's just too thin down the middle of the ice. I'm surprised we're getting plus 100. For the Jets, and I'm going to ride with the Islanders at home. I'm going to ride with the Lightning at home. I'm going to ride with the Blue Jackets as my upset pick at plus 230, and I'm going to take the over between LA and Ottawa at 6.5, and I think the Devils on the puck line. For shot props, actually for points, like Jack Hughes 2-point night, Jenner point, Nick Paul point, Cole Perfetti point, Pavelski an assist, Matty Beniers point, Eberle point. Those are all pretty decent odds. Like I'm not giving you minus 200 for a point. Those are all pretty other plus money or like minus 110 or minus 130 for a point. Jack Hughes for 3 shots, Kevin Fiala for 3, Brady Tkachuk for 4, Kempe for 3, Brian Rust for 3 shots. Got Boone Jenner for 3 shots, Kubalik for 3, Scheifele plus money for 3, Jason Robertson for 4, Mitch Marner for 3, and then your boy Willie Nylander. Taking Eberle for 3 shots as well, and I will take one of the Hurricanes for 4, and it's going to be Andrei Svechnikov for 4 shots. Other than that, you're on your own. That's it. Not even doing Cole Caulfield today, guys. Maybe the under on Cole Caulfield. Kraken are stingy. Caulfield didn't get 4 shots yesterday. Hit the bar twice, off the glass 4 times. Like the shot attempts are always there with this guy. And there's some people in the Discord like, Caulfield, he always burns me. But I'm telling you, he really does shoot the puck quite a bit. On the way out, Joey says what we mentioned earlier: beware the Paul Maurice revenge. Bruce Cassidy got it done last night with Eichel. He did. I'm aware of the revenge. I'm sure the boys are going to show up for Paul Maurice tonight in Florida. I'm sure there's going to be a nice little message to Paul Maurice for all the wonderful years he had in Winnipeg, but it's all over for him after that. Winnipeg Jets win on home ice. Kyle Connor. We're out of here, guys. Thanks so much for taking the time to hang out. Joey, the whole crew, Troy, enjoy the hockey game. The Adams Daily Handle, also Dustin in the house. We do appreciate you guys smashing the like button, rate, review, subscribe if you haven't already on iTunes. Promo code Meaney. Save yourself a little bit of cash. FTNbets.com/free, FTNdaily.com/free. Good luck on the ice, and we'll be back on Thursday. Cheers.